And welcome to this week's edition of The Mountain Gardener. Your host, Ken Lane, talking about the landscapes of northern Arizona. And this is the middle of May. This is when things just rocket off. So we think we are out of frost, at least at the lower elevations. Lower meaning anyone but Flagstaff and the White Mountains, maybe the Williams area. But the rest of us, we're pretty good. So it's time to put your tomatoes, time to put your zinnias, time to put your geraniums, time to plant new trees. It's time. It's planting. This is the peak. And your garden centers, they are absolutely jam packed. So we had a little delay last week, about 10 days ago, where the crop rotation was just a little off. So it was cloudy over the greenhouses, a little bit chilly. And so the crops were just delayed by a few days. And so it gave us this gap. And then this week, everything came together. And so the garden center is packed with tomatoes, packed with herbs, packed with color, flowers, perennials. It's kind of exciting. It's what the garden center should look like. Now, this is when we start to put this. This is the key weekend. The next 3 weekends or so are when probably, 70% of all of the tomatoes, peppers, vegetables will go in. And I'm not talking by seed. We're talking, I want to cheat. I want to be a month ahead. I'm buying starts at the garden center and I'm going to put those in the ground so that I am like, I want tomatoes next week. Actually, some of our plants already have tomatoes on them. It's kind of exciting. But one thing I thought I would cover, just because this is the weekend when things start. Tomatoes are notorious up in the mountains of Arizona for skin that's very thick and tough, for skins that crack. The fruits will actually crack. And I thought it would take a moment and just explain why that happens. So what happens here is at this elevation, we have very warm days and very cool nights. And so typically we say we recommend water in the morning, hydrate plants before they get into the heat of the day. So you don't want to go out in the desert dehydrated and then take a sip of water. You want to hydrate before and then as you go along. And so plants will plump up. So their fruits will get juicy. They'll swell up. They'll actually grow during the morning when you water those. As we start to get dry, especially in the month of June, the end of May, through until the monsoons hit the end of June, first part of July, it's pretty hot. It's windy. It's 9% humidity. It's dry. And so the plants can actually shrink during the day. So you get this plumping up, shrinking down, plumping up, shrinking down. Well, plants don't like that. And so they are trying to compensate for that. They're trying to protect themselves. And so they'll put on a real thick skin. So you might find that your tomatoes, your fruits are thicker skinned here at this elevation than you have, let's say, in the Midwest. And that's the reason why. As they swell up and then shrink down, they can actually cause a crack or a fracture in the skin of the fruit. Many times it will mature or ripen, but it can scar. And that's what's causing that. Between plump mornings, dry afternoons, and plump evenings, it's just this pulsating of the fruits. That's what causes that crack or thick skins. So what to do? What I do, my name's Ken. We're just friends. We're talking over the back fence. This works for me. I think it'll work for you too. And so we make a product here at Waters Garden Center. You're only going to find it at Waters Garden Center. It's called Aqua Boost Crystals. These are soil polymers. They'll swell up and hold like 200 times their weight in water. And so I know this is a problem. So every time I plant a vegetable, actually every time I plant anything in my yard, I add Aqua Boost. I put like a tablespoon under the plants, under the roots of each plant. And so the roots will actually grow down into that Aqua Boost crystals. What the Aqua Boost does, it evens out the pattern. It helps the plant it keeps the moisture there so it never has a dry spot. It evens out the moisture in the soil for that plant. So I have less of that pulsating of plump and then dry, which causes thick skins and cracked skins. So that's one thing that I do that I think would be a game changer for you. It's very inexpensive. A little bit goes a long ways, But every time you plant, put a little bit of Aqua Boost crystals or a dry crystal. And then when you water your plant, it'll actually take some of that. Just they swell up and they hold the moisture right there. And we've infused the crystals with mycorrhizal fungi. So mycorrhizals, they actually work symbiotically with the soil and the plants. So the microbes will reach out, grab the root, and extend the roots into the surrounding soil so that you have a hardier, deeper rooted, larger rooted plant. Well, this also takes the edge out on the plumpness of plumping. That's not even a word. The pulsating moisture inside that fruit. It works on peppers. So there, it's not the fruit gets real thick skinned. The fruit gets thin walled, and so it's trying to defend itself. And so it's trying to compensate for what the environment is doing to it. The other thing we're famous for. So while you're getting your tomatoes, while you're here, the place is packed right now. So while you're in, get a bottle of tomato set or fruit set, tomato or vegetable set. And so tomato set, another thing that we're famous for is these real warm days. The plants are growing like crazy. And then we'll cool off at night and the plants literally will shut down. And so you get this, I'm growing, then I'm not. I'm growing, then I'm not. It freaks the plants out. And so we are notorious for having large plants that don't blossom. They don't set fruit. And that's what's causing that daytime, nighttime temperature swing messes with the plant. And so what you do is once the plant, not just tomatoes, not just peppers, but I do my squash, cucumbers, anything. Once that plant gets up to about the size where you think, the gardener, that it should start setting fruit. Yeah, a tomato will be knee high. A pepper will be 18 inches tall, something like that. They're mature enough. They got enough roots underneath them to actually start setting fruit. Start spritzing every other week with tomato set or fruit set, or we call it tomato and pepper set. And most folks misuse this product. They think it's actually pollen for the flowers. Don't spray the flowers. It doesn't even matter. You're spraying the foliage. So that plant grows so fast during the day when it warms up, it forgets to set fruit. It literally just goes, I'm just going to focus on foliage, take advantage, it's warm foliage. And so if you spritz it with the tomato set, it will actually take a breather, kind of goes, oh man, I'm tired. I was growing like crazy. Oh my gosh. Oh, what was I here for? Oh yeah. I should probably set some fruit, and it helps it set fruit. It really does work. I use it throughout the season, not just generally once they start setting fruit, they get used to it. So then now they know what they're there for. So your peppers will just start putting on bigger bells. Your jalapenos will be just more of them. So you'll get more fruits by spritzing your foliage with tomato and pepper set. So I'll do that throughout the season, not just when they're not fruiting, but all the time. So through the growing season, I spritz it every other week with this. The other one we're famous for is blossomindrot. And that's because of our alkaline water. So our water is so alkaline. It's very unusual. This part of the country, we're the only one that's alkaline water. And so the plants get blossomindrot. The alkalinity locks up all the calcium in the soil, so it doesn't. So the fruit rots where that flower touches the fruit. It's called blossomindrot. It's a big black spot. And so liquid calcium, I spray my plants with liquid calcium because I know I'm going to struggle with this. And so once a week, I'm spraying my plants with something. Once they're up to size, 1 week I kind of start with blossom set, and then I hit them with yield booster. Yield booster is liquid calcium. And so the plant will absorb this through the foliage. And then I'll switch it off once a week. So tomato set, yield booster. Tomato set, yield booster. So once a week I go out, usually with the coffee in hand in the morning. And I go, here, let's make you guys happy. Here, let's go fruit. Also calcium. Calcium is what makes the fruit sweet, makes it better flavored and larger. So you get more fruits, larger fruits, better tasting fruits. I mean, come on, that's what gardener doesn't want that. Got a lot in store for you, but we got Lisa Watersling coming in the studio with your garden questions right after this.